All right, I will take the reins then.
Yeah, we do the paint it.
Don't move! Don't fucking move! Put your hands in the air! Put your hands in the air! Put them up! Get on your knees! Hey!
Hello and welcome to the Table's Edge, a Spectre Operation and other modern wargaming podcast. My name is Dan, and I'm here with my co-host Ben.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I hope fine.
I hope fine too.
Yeah. At least they turned in for a third episode.
Number 3 at least, yeah. We recorded a special about 2 weeks ago on Black Powder Red Earth, so if you haven't checked that out, make sure to check that out. That is episode 2.8. We decided to be cheeky.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's all about fun. Ben, so, like a small old tradition, how is your hobby update? What have you been doing the last roughly month?
Oh man, it's been actually a pretty productive month for me. I have been spending a lot of time on Discord, talking with other boys and girls, and getting motivated by what I'm seeing. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out from people painting minis to making terrain. So that is really, really helpful in keeping my hobby juices flowing. But so I think I mentioned that one of my goals for 2021 is to do 50 Spectre miniatures or miniatures that I can use for a game of Spectre Operations. Last time I was at something like 31 or something like that.
Yeah.
32? Okay, thank you. Here, I'm glad you're keeping track. I am now at 45 out of 50, and it is just the beginning of December, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I just got to motivate and figure that out. I've been kind of swayed by Dan and some World War II miniatures and rule sets, but we'll see. I think 5 more miniatures I can knock out. But I was able to paint up some FBI HRT, the hostage rescue team guys, for a buddy of mine. I'm super happy how those turned out. They're Spectre miniatures from their law enforcement line. I painted up 4 of those for him to add to his group that's already alive and kicking. Painted up 2 hostages for my undercover low-profile team to give them something to rescue. I painted up 3 more African militia. I did plenty of printing too, believe me. I painted up 3 more African militia for my African theater and 4 more civilians. So that brings the total up to 45 out of 50. So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Booyah!
Yeah, I'm excited. I also, like everybody, increased my pile of shame with both metal and resin this month. I picked up some MENA, Middle East, North Africa militia from a friend. And those are from Spectre. So I'll probably pull those out at some point. But that actually is my only set of miniatures for that theater. So we'll see. It's kind of stereotypical that everybody has terrorists or Taliban or whatever. I don't, but now I do. I am working on my Lakara market. For those of you who've seen Black Hawk Down, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it looks like Bakara market. That's the big arms dealing market that's got people all over the place and smoky and shady people going around. I am making a Lakara market for my African theater, which is going to have some movable market stands that I can kind of reconfigure along with some arms dealers and some checkpoints for my government troops to be hanging out at. And I've been actually pretty fortunate. I'm spoiled because our buddy from the Discord, the M, he has been a busy boy and he has made some STLs that go perfect for the market. He's got stacks of fuel cans and pallets full of goods and a bunch of clay pots and such, and stuff to go on top of a market table. So I printed off a whole bunch of those. And I'll be getting busy. I'm just kind of waiting on my basing material, the material that I'm going to use as an underlayment for that.
And your mindset for it.
And my mindset.
Don't lie to us.
Yes, I gotta be in the mood. Other than that, like I mentioned before, I have been printing like a madman. Lots of turn-based miniatures. I just printed off the police recently and some of their Taliban from their welcome pack. So I'm excited to get those painted up. My buddy just got the Blacksite Studio Bank. So we're going to do a bank robber scenario. So we need some beat cops and some robbers for that. So that'll be coming in the pipe. Hopefully we'll take some pictures. Maybe at that point we'll be doing some YouTube stuff. That might be a good YouTube battle report.
Yeah.
So maybe look for that. Put some pressure on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, some more stuff for my African theater. I printed off Combat Octopus's Indian troops, and I'm going to be using those as United Nations troops. They're going to have some white vehicles and the blue helmets and vests because I like that look, and probably the M81 camouflage, the stereotypical woodland camouflage. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So there's been a lot of dreaming, Dan, a little bit of doing, but it's been a busy month. Oh, and well, we also did play some Black Powder Red Earth via the tabletop simulator, so I'll count that as some hobby fun
definitely.
that I had.
Put a check on that.
Yes, checkbox. How about you? What have you been up to?
I've been overwhelmed with my day job, so the month passed by in no time, which was kind of nice because I got the next paycheck, but which was bad because I didn't got any hobby stuff done which I had planned. I'm just finished painting up 4 of the Combat Octopus Russian Recons, which are 2000 themed, so if you're looking for the Second Chechen War, that's the type of miniature they fit in perfectly. Really beautiful, very detailed.
What kind of guns do those come with? Like what are they armed with?
They have one guy with PKM, which just have PKM. There's one snipery dude. He got an SVD and the VSS with a scope, which is pretty cool, silenced. And the other 2, you have, I think, 3 options. Yeah, 3 options. One is an AK-74M with an underbarrel grenade launcher. I forgot it. God damn it. Yeah, but the typical Russian grenade launcher. And they have an AKM with a PBS silencer, which is pretty slick. I really like that. You know, that typical long, really long AK. This canny suppressor, very rustic.
Hot.
And the last option, yeah, absolutely. I love
Hot.
the PBS. I got one for my airsoft gun, and it's completely steel. It's so heavy, but it's just pure bling. And the last option is an Ace Val with all without optics besides the sniper options, the VSS and the SVD. They're really killer. And I've been talking with Combat Octopus, Stanislav, and I don't want to spoil. Actually, I wrote it in Patreon, I think. I've been sure. I asked if he could do some options because they're all like ready shooting. If he could give the last miniature, which is more like a patrolling style person, the other weapon options, so we can have more modularity. And he said, yeah, actually, you forgot it to do it. So if you're lucky and soonish, and if you find some time, we get there some more. So I will print more and pin more, hopefully. Besides that, I printed a lot of Indians. I will use them as well for United Nations troops, besides not having an idea for what actually, but I just want to have some. Just pretty cool, iconic. And I was thinking already to use the from turn-based miniatures, the TBM Gas Tiger, just painted up white because I've seen them and some pictures. Yeah. And speaking about today, we got today when we were recording, so not today when you're listening, we got a special bonus from Combat Octopus. He knocked out some AKMs as a free addition for the Indians, so you don't have the incest rifle and what's called M6 something, which looks like an HK 417 thing.
Yes. Yep. It's a SIG 716i.
Thank you. Yeah. So we have a 3rd edition now with the AKMs, which is cool. So you can use those Indian troops perfectly for any type of Middle Eastern security police force. Awesome. Give much more modularity. Already thinking I'm using different hats, but that's in the future. We're talking what I have done yet. So I managed to paint up the 4 guys. Besides that, just printing. I got the game done with Ben on Tabletop Simulator, which was a lot of fun. We are, pretty. I don't want to say in love, but we are excited for the game. It's a lot of fun. Check out the review.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. But Spectre's still the main squeeze. So
yeah, it's just like a donut on the side, super sweet and tasty and quick to eat.
Yes, but it's not the main course.
Yeah.
Speaking of, oh man, Dan, now you got me thinking about my UN troops. I think I have I printed off a couple of them, the Indian guys, and I think I have like 5 or 6 of those, and then I'm combining some of the Indian heads with some of the Russian bodies, so I have a little bit more diversity. So I got a PKM. That was the main thing that I wanted, just a little bit of fire support for them. But I like your idea about the gas. That is a really slick idea. What I'm planning on is I have an M113 that's kicking around, a resin one from the Assault Group, which if you haven't checked those out and you're looking for an M113, they are super awesome models, and they're super inexpensive. I think they're probably close to $10 US for a resin M113 with a gunner, or it doesn't come with a gunner, but it does come with the 50 cal that you can put on top. And they also have the ACAV version if you're looking for a Vietnam era thing. So definitely check it out. It scales really well. I have one printed up for my African military forces. It's camouflaged. But I think there's something super striking about white and the black lettering and the blue helmets. Yeah. So I'm super excited for that. I had to order a special paint. I have it sitting here in front of me, Andrea Blue from Model Color, because I didn't have a color that's appropriate for the blue helmets. So I'm excited.
Yeah, speaking about the blue, ask me about that, and just to throw it in for you guys listening, if you are now intrigued to doing your own United Nations forces, I cross-checked the paint, and it's more or less the same, very near to the Vallejo Game Color Electric Blue. So I have this lying around, so yeah, I can.
You have a use for it.
I saved some money again.
Oh yeah, you saved some money.
Yeah, those 2 months were very, very light on my wallet. That was pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just speaking about the United Nations, just to sprinkle some ideas between us, I had planned to use the Bundeswehr, the German release from Command Octopus. He has some hats with the cap. You know, the military style cap, and if you put them on those with the AKMs, I think they will look pretty, really, really Russian, or even, like local police force.
Yeah.
Like blue hats or something.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many things can just spin off from one set of 4 or 5 miniatures that's modular. That's why I love Combat Octopus. And I mean, turn-based miniatures, they're so awesome.
Yeah. You can mix and match the hats if you rescale them easily.
Definitely.
Oh, and a white BTR, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing some, at least one white Toyota Hilux. I have a couple of
red
those.
diamonds on the doors.
Yeah. You see those rocking around. My African theater, I think I've mentioned it before, but it's loosely based on the Central African Republic and the Mali area. So there's a lot of players there, from the United Nations to Russians and Americans and French and the indigenous forces, plus they have a coalition of African nations that have sent their militaries to hotspots. It's kind of like and this is just me putting a name on it, but it's kind of like a UN-like agreement with the African nations. And, you know, Chad is there, and Mali has sent troops, I believe, into the Central African Republic to help stabilize things. So you don't even have to really reach very far. I mean, there's been rumors of, these are probably old now. I've kind of been following, the UN is detailing the incidents and the ongoing conflict there, actually through YouTube and whatever. So if you subscribe to their channel or whatever, it's kind of interesting. Some of it's in French and whatever, because that's one of the native languages there. But there's a lot of interesting things. The Portuguese have sent paratroopers there, and they're doing some pretty heavy fighting.
Oh yeah.
The United Nations is actually picking up their pace as far as offensive operations. Traditionally, they're very defensive and maintaining the peace. They're peacekeepers. But because of the situation, they've actually started offensive operations, and they actually have some hinds in the country. I forget if I think it's Senegal had sent over a wing of Hind D helicopters. And those are, for people who don't know, those are attack helicopters with troop carrying capacity, but they look very, very striking in their white camouflage. It's pretty cool. There's a really cool, like 10-minute documentary, or mini documentary, I guess you would say, on the pilots of those. So definitely check those out. Those are on YouTube. They're pretty easy to find. But if you're looking for some inspiration, that's definitely one thing Dan and I have been chit-chatting about quite a bit.
Yeah, man. Getting excited.
Yeah.
Never would have imagined getting excited for UN forces.
Right?
But yeah, it's just such a... Just thinking about the color schemes on a typical brownish, greenish, camouflage-filled table just makes me cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super cool. So.
Yeah. That's our wrap-up for the hobby update.
All right, Dan. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard something. Austin Miniatures. Ben.
Yeah, Austin Miniatures. So this is long overdue, and Austin from Austin Miniatures, I apologize. Hopefully we're going to have a video out about these guys soon. I have to get off my butt and get them painted, which will happen soon. I have a couple guys prepped and based, so look for something like that coming in the near future. But one thing I want to do is just a little spotlight on Austin Miniatures. So for those who don't know, Austin Miniatures is a miniature company, obviously, a small startup that is from Huron, Ohio in the United States. So I always like seeing American companies because they're, first off, easy to get, and second off, I just like supporting businesses that are in my own country. Not that I have anything against supporting other businesses. I give everybody my money equally. Who am I kidding? Whatever. But I like that there are some more miniature companies that are American-based. I think that's great. You guys in England and overseas are very lucky that you can just call up Spectre or maybe even wander into their store. I don't know if they do that. I don't know if they have an actual store, but you can get your miniatures in a couple days. That is what I have going on here with Austin Miniatures. So back in January, they came out with a line of modern U.S. Marines. Now, these are contemporary. They are like the cutting edge of what is actually in the field right now. So they're not near future, nothing like that, but they are what is current and what the Marines are phasing into. Now, in talking with the guys there from Austin Miniatures, their focus is going to be on producing non-special forces. So stuff, your regular grunts, right? U.S. Marines, U.S. Army. They want to do Russian Army, which is supposedly coming later this year. Yep. Yes, it's going to be awesome.
The pile is big enough.
I know. And I can't take anymore. But in talking with them, they are also miniature enthusiasts. And one of the things that they see is that there are a bunch of miniatures covering very specific topics, like very specialized. We all love, having Navy SEAL miniatures or DevGru, Spetsnaz, KSK. God, I love those miniatures that just came out. But anyway, that's not about them. But we have a real lack of regular grunts. There are companies like Empress that do a great job. But, sometimes you want some different posing and some different options for weapons. So it's cool that another company is dipping their toe in the modern miniature ring here. So the current line that they have out, and you can find this on their website, austinminiatures.com, is their Modern Marines, and there are 4 packs of 2 miniatures each. There's Rifleman Alpha and Bravo, an NCO and Grenadier pack, and a Marksman pack. Now, again, they want to make these miniatures have the cutting-edge equipment. So they're armed with the M27 IAR. And Dan, we talked about that a little bit, but that's what the Marines are phasing in as a replacement to the M4, M16.
But did you say IR was infantry, automatic rifleman?
Yes,
Stuff?
I believe so.
Or rifle?
Yes. So they want to have these miniatures have some historical accuracy, if you will, or true to the source, but they also have a little bit of Hollywood flair in their posing and whatever. One thing that I appreciate as a enthusiast of scale accuracy is I appreciate that they had some comparison photographs on their Facebook, so you could see what their miniatures look like next to Spectre and Empress, and they fit in great. There's a little bit of human variation, which is awesome. And it's cool to see the types of equipment that they throw on them. They're kind of loaded for bear. Some of them have the assault packs on and a bunch of different pouches, dump pouches, leg holsters. They're all ready to go. So it's pretty cool. One really interesting aspect that they included in these miniatures is the fact that they have semi-posable arms. Now, what I mean by that is the arms come disconnected from the body, and actually both arms are attached to the gun. So the miniature comes in 2 parts. 3 if you count the included night vision goggles. So each miniature has a night vision goggle that will fit on top of the helmet if you so wish. But what the separate arms allows is the ability to have the miniature aiming the rifle or in a low ready position. In addition to that, I know the NCO for sure, but I think that there's another one. They come with the option to have a different set of arms put on, and they're interchangeable. But the NCO comes with arms holding a pistol, so you don't have to have all riflemen. You might need to find a way to have a rifle slung or whatever, but there's that option there, so that's pretty cool. One thing that I didn't like so much about them is that they didn't come with the metal tab on the bottom of the feet. So that means that the connection points are just the bottom of the feet. And Austin said that they have since fixed that the new lines that they're coming out with are all going to have the bottom tab. A little bit easier to attach it to your base. I don't know. I have big sausage fingers, maybe little sausage fingers. So I kind of ham fist things sometimes, and I knock stuff off tables, and anything that keeps my miniature secured and all together, I'm all for that. So that is awesome.
Yeah, not only for that, but if you're, like we talked the other day, if they have like a ready forward pose and the stance is very slim, so you have to hold them all the time until the CA glue is settling, and it's kind of annoying. So yeah, kudos to Austin for bringing back the tabs.
Yes, bring back the tabs. And they actually did that. They have also released a limited edition Christian Craighead miniature, which for those of you, I'm sure that if you're listening to this, you probably know who that is, but he is the SAS operator who came to the rescue in Nairobi. Man, that must be a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
But there was a terrorist attack where this armed gunmen broke into an occupied hotel and were trying to cause havoc and shoot people and take people hostage and whatever. And Christian Craighead was staying at the hotel, I believe, or he was in the area and he got summoned. He was in the area training local troops or government troops. And he got his kit on and went to work, and there's a lot of really famous pictures of him. So it's really cool. They did an awesome job in staying true to the pictures that are out of him, and the miniature is rocking. And actually it comes with 2 poses, one where he's holding his rifle and the other one where he's holding a pistol. And the miniature actually comes with arms for both, so you don't have to choose. Or if you're like me, you get 2, so you can have 1 of each. But it is probably one of the most faithful depictions that I've seen, in miniature form of Christian. So that's pretty freaking cool.
What's the downside of the Christian Crackhead mini? They're limited edition.
They're limited edition.
At least to your packaging and what you told me.
Yeah.
And they're very limited.
8 out of 50. So I have 8 and 9 out of 50 maybe. But they are still available on their website. I just checked yesterday. While I was kind of preparing to record this.
Oh, you need to order one from me.
Yes, I'll have to order one to you and sneak it over to Germany in my, anyway.
Prison pocket.
And yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to go there. But you count on Dan to go there.
Yeah, it's my job for the stupid jokes.
Now, in talking to Austin, I kind of asked him, what are your future plans for your range? And they are really excited to keep going with the modern era. So what they're doing is they are working with Paul Hicks. For those of you who don't know, Paul Hicks is a pretty prolific sculptor. He's done some sculpting for Empress, among many others, but the Empress is the one that pops up off the top of my head. He did a lot of their Vietnam range, if not all of it. So if you want to see his work, check that out. But he is working on some Black Hawk Down U.S. Rangers.
Hot.
And yes.
Hot.
Yes. 90s cool. So those should be coming out. And again, I talked to Austin a little bit ago. At this point, it's probably a couple months. So sorry, Austin, but it sounds like those things are well underway. So hopefully we'll see those in the near future here. And one thing I have to say is I know Dan is the same way. I love when companies send stickers and decals and like little swag, I guess you could say, right? If it's tokens or whatever, oh man, that just makes me so happy to see. And I have to say that Austin Miniatures has one of the coolest logos that I've seen for a miniature company. It's basically a bullseye, and in the middle of it's got a skull with a fast helmet on top with night vision goggles and stuff. And they put the stickers, they teased me, Dan. They teased me. They put the stickers on the packaging, but no stickers just floating around for me to put on my my box of minis that I carry around with me.
Peel one off and just glue it.
It's not the same. So Austin, if you listen to this, make sure you throw some stickers in there. I think people will go bananas for those. They're pretty awesome. So again, I've had these for a while, and I will get on prepping and painting them. They've just been kind of put on the back burner because I haven't had a project to do, and I've been kind of dragging my feet. I am going to do a video. They were kind enough. I bought them actually one of the first runs just for clarity's sake and being what's the word I'm looking for, Dan?
I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah, we'll have to cut that out.
No, we don't cut.
We don't cut anything out.
So
it
looks longer.
Just for transparency. That's what I was looking for. Transparency.
Transparency.
I bought these miniatures from them. I bought the packs on eBay at the time. That's where they were selling them. Now you can buy them on their site. And I had the intent of doing a review. I contacted them, and they were nice enough to send me an extra set of miniatures in the correct packaging, because I actually bought them before they had their packaging all squared away. I think I got one of the first runs of them. So they sent me some extra miniatures and packaging, which was definitely worth it, because you know how I am about stickers apparently now. But yeah, so I am going to do a video on those and hopefully throw out some pictures on social media. They are awesome sculpts, and I really enjoy the Christian Craighead miniature. So yeah, if you are in the market for cutting edge U.S. Marines and soon some 90s Rangers, check out Austin Miniatures. You won't be disappointed.
Link in the description.
Yes, the link is in the description.
Yeah, quick note from me in comments or whatever. I don't have the miniature in hand. Ben showed me then over the webcam, and I had a peek on the website some time ago. And I really appreciate that they do the grunts. I think the market is very saturated, oversaturated even with special forces. Everybody's doing special forces, and yeah, it's nice to have those guys who can fill in the trained and professional level of Spectre games, for example, or yeah, just some scenario guys.
Yeah,
and I'm really looking forward for the 90s guys, the Black Hawk Down. That's absolutely my vibe, the 90s to 2000 era. And yeah, I'm a little bit bummed out that Austin Miniatures with the CEO Austin is not in Austin, Texas, but that's just
a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's absolutely missed. Yeah, but yeah, cool. Check them out. Check the link in the description. Help them out to get bigger. Then we get more releases, and yeah.
Yeah, they're also on Facebook and Instagram. So if you're on those platforms, check them out. They got some good stuff going on there.
Booyah.
Booyah.
Frontline 15 confirmed those hits are good. Request your follow-up with 203.
All right, so one of the things that Dan and I have talked about as a goal for our podcast is to have a rules segment, just to first off make sure that we know the rules. Because if you can talk about it, maybe you'll play it right. Maybe I'll cheat. I don't know. Hopefully not. But it's also a good spot to start a conversation about different elements that you can work into your games. So the first one that we wanted to talk about were dog teams. Now, Dan, have you used dog teams in a game yet?
No, but the reason is first because I forgot about it, and second I have only one dog and it's not painted up, so yeah. But I think
so you're not going to put it up.
No, a lot of people I think don't have on their minds that you can use attack dogs or any other kind of dogs, and they're cool.
They are. They add an element. I will say that I have used dogs in a handful of games, both as a player with a dog and a handler, and as a person who's playing against somebody with a dog and a handler. And let me say that they are a force multiplier. So as far as dogs go, you can have as many dogs as you want in your force, but for each dog in your force, you need one infantry model that is going to be the designated handler. Now, the dog must always remain in base contact with the handler unless it's ordered to investigate or attack a target. And if the handler is killed, then the dog is also removed from play.
Makes sense.
It's interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. If the dog is... yes, it makes sense. If the handler is killed, the dog is not probably going to listen to anybody else. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But most dogs that are working dogs, they train with one person, and that's who they respond to, unless it's an emergency. And then sometimes they can respond to other people, but it doesn't go quite as well. So dogs can be a target of an attack, as any other model can be, and they have a defense of 2, which is pretty decent. But they also, because they're a smaller target, you have a -1 modifier to attacks against them. So that definitely helps keep the dog alive.
It's a good thought.
Yeah. So there are 2 types of dogs. Really 3. But the first type is the attack dog. Now, an attack dog, during the movement and tactical action phase, you can order the dog to attack a target within 9 inches of the handler. When you do that, the dog is moving into base contact with the target, and you fight a round of close combat in the subsequent combat phase. So it doesn't happen right then, but it happens when the combat phase comes around. Attack dogs have a melee of 5, which is pretty significant.
Yeah. It's what the elites have, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you're getting bit by an attack dog, you are in trouble. They're going to win most of the fights that they go into. So when the dog wins its fight, the controlling player can choose whether to kill or capture their target. Now, the dog cannot drag a person or carry a captive, but it will stay in base contact with them, showing that that particular miniature is restrained, and that allows a friendly model to move in and take control of that miniature, the captive, right? So what do you think, Dan? What would be a good use for one of these dogs?
Well, I'm already thinking, because I'm seeing it in the book, on the next option how you can use a dog, which is the detection dog.
We'll save that.
I will just say it's a detection dog, but the rules will Ben tell in a second. But attack dogs, obviously some raids of some gangsters hideout, or like your typical Russian mafia club, strip club, bar, casino things, which are pretty cool. Or even, which is here already hinted, with hyenas and militia forces, which I think is really cool. That if you can use anything as a dog. You could probably even use a lion and just use the dog rules, or a cougar or whatever. So you can use your
attack cougar.
Yeah, your redneck. I started playing Far Cry 5, so yeah, there you have a cougar as a companion, and I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that it's a really good miniature to have if you're going to be, like you said, if there's going to be a raid or something similar.
Oh, and
an attack.
if I can add, and obviously if you need to capture someone, because you can choose for the capture if you're not militia.
Yes, most of the time. Most of the time, and we'll get to that in a second. But so if things go sideways and you need to recall the dog because you can't get to it and capture the miniature that it has restrained, you can recall them in the movement and tactical phase of the next turn. And if you do that, if the captive hasn't been captured, then they are free to return to play as normal with a couple bite marks on them, like a chew toy. Now, the one thing Dan hinted at before that does not allow you the tactical freedom is if your attack dog is a hyena or a dog that's used by a militia force. They can never capture an enemy. They're always going to kill an enemy that they beat in close combat. So I like the idea, and Chris Purdy from the Rules of Engagement podcast, I remember this very clearly. They were talking about dogs, and they were talking about having, if you're raiding a compound full of militia and they just have some feral dogs running around that they just kind of hang out because someone feeds them and throws them a bone once in a while, and they are kind of, whatever about their militia, like they won't attack them, but whatever. But as soon as some people come into the compound that they're not familiar with, they'll go and bite their heads off. No one really controls those dogs. But it might be kind of a cool thing to include in your scenario, kind of another variable that you have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. You're telling this, I have this picture in front of me of a junkyard full of dogs and, those couches sitting on the front porches and guys with shotguns and moonshine. Yeah.
Yeah. Not just militia, but you could do, have you seen those bikers? This is totally an aside, but there's someone who's putting out like Sons of Anarchy style bikers.
I think you said
they're cool. Yeah, probably. We'll talk about this later. Anyway, back to dogs. It's not very hard to make us go on a tangent. The other type of dog is a detection dog. Now, where this comes into play is during the movement and tactical phase as well. A detection dog can be ordered to search an area with a 4-inch diameter centered anywhere within 9 inches. So really that could move the radius of your search out to like 11 inches, right? 9 plus half of 4 is 11. So anything hidden within that 4-inch diameter circle is revealed. Now that could be troops or IEDs or
drugs,
trip mines, or yes, it could be. Yeah, you could be searching for something and it might be able to reveal what you're looking for.
Searching cars in a convoy for the drug car.
Yeah.
Game boner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or, at a checkpoint.
Yeah.
When vehicles are coming into, when they're coming into like a military base or outpost, and then they're searching them as they come in, and then maybe they miss the bad guys or the explosives or something. Some cool ideas. Anyway, so the third type of dog is a dual role dog. Now, again, this is very realistic that a lot of dogs are trained to both apprehend people and to detect stuff, whether that's drugs or explosives or whatever. Some are trained either as attack dogs or detection dogs, but a good majority of working dogs that you're going to see in military forces are dual role. Now, in addition to that, the dogs can get some equipment, which gives them some different bonuses. So the first piece of equipment that we're looking at is called Advanced Communications. Now that is probably for your higher end military units. Maybe, again, I'm just going to pull this because I'm pretty sure the starter set miniatures come with a dog with a camera on it.
Yeah, on the back, yeah. That's the one I have.
Yeah, so that's cool because you can actually use that and the dog can move independently 9 inches independently of the handler. Now, like we said, normally the dog has to be in base contact unless it's sent to do its job of searching or of attacking and apprehending somebody. But with this, the handler can talk to the dog and see what it's doing and direct it to do its job independently. So that's pretty
Is that a real thing? I mean, with the camera, I can imagine, but with the radio to a dog?
Yeah.
Wow,
as far as I know, yeah. I've never seen that in person, but I believe that that's a real thing, yeah.
Crazy. The future is now.
The future is now. Next piece of equipment is something that I have seen, and that's a dog vest. So obviously, dogs are a target. We jokingly call them fur missiles, right? They're scary. People are going to want to shoot at the dogs because they're pretty vicious in close combat. So if you see a dog, you're going to want to get rid of it immediately. So one of the things that you can do is you can add body armor onto your dogs. Now that gives you the same bonus as other body armor. It gives you a -1 modifier to lethality rolls. But much like heavy body armor does, is reduces the movement. So a dog normally moves 9 inches. It's reduced to 7 inches. So you get the trade-off. You get a little more durability, but you can't go as far. So it's cool that they included a couple options. And I think that these dogs, I have 5 or 6 dogs, and of various configurations. Some of them have vests, some of them don't. I have like a pit bull and a Rottweiler and some other dog, a bulldog, I think maybe, that I could just use as, stand-ins for pretty much any force, if it's militia or if it's cartel or a military force. Definitely could be used in any of those. Besides what we talked about, does that spring up any other ideas for you?
Yeah, I'm thinking about a crocodile for some African warlord. Man, that would be dope. With some +1 on lethality or something, Because he's brutal and would just roll, bite and roll, snap it in half.
Oh god!
But yeah, you could do any type of animal and just adjust the values in terms of, if it's a beer, obviously take off the -1 modifier for the hit because they're fucking huge. But yeah, absolutely everything. It's awesome. I'm just thinking if there could be some other equipment, but maybe I've seen dogs having like molly on their backs, so you could maybe give them some extra ammo carrying capabilities. Maybe, I don't know, grenades maybe too much, but
maybe like a med kit.
Yeah, medkit and then you can send the dog around to wounded people. If they're not unconscious, they can fix themselves up. That would be pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
one.
I like that idea. We'll write that one down.
Yeah, and besides that, I like the idea from the Rules of Engagement podcast with the Führer dogs hanging around.
Yeah, feral dogs everywhere. Yeah, like I said, it just adds an element where you're like, oh, is a dog gonna see me? And again, 9 inches is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
On the boards that we're playing, and the fact that they are not going to just chomp on you and hold you, they're gonna try and go for the throat. And that they have a close combat melee score of 5. I mean, that's that's significant. It's not going to be a slap fight.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's true. Did you have any dog versus dogs fights?
No, not yet. Mostly, I've mostly been on the receiving end. My buddy Matt has a dog for his tier 1 operators, and he likes to throw it in windows and maul my guys before they get a chance to react, which is kind of cool. Like, he uses a breaching check, pops the window, and then in goes the fur missile, and off he goes, and my guys all scream, and yeah, it's not good.
But do they have an agility?
I don't know what their agility is off the top of my head.
But I would think they just manage everything would make sense.
Yes.
I mean, a dog who can...
I don't necessarily think it needs an agility. I guess I would use the handler's score. I don't see anything in here that says the agility. I mean, it's got the movement distance and then the defense and the melee. Obviously, it's not going to have a shooting score. It doesn't have a gun. Unless you want to strap a gun onto your dog, Dan. I could see your little wheels turning for that one. Yeah. A dog turret. But I think that it's mostly the handler. If they're lifting it up and popping it through the window, maybe you do an agility test.
How did you do it in the game? You don't remember probably?
I think I just let him use it. Yeah, I think I just let him use it. I mean, he did the breaching thing where he popped the window off, right? Opened her up, raked it, break and rake, as they say.
Yeah.
And then we just let him deploy the dog through the window. Because that's realistic. I mean, that's definitely what you can do with a dog is through the window. And a lot of times, when you're clearing houses or dangerous areas, it's nice to have that extra set of eyes and nose and ears, right? And it's, a dog is a valued member of the team, but it's also a tool, and it's a little bit more expendable than a person. A little cold, but it's the reality of it. Dogs are tools. They're our partners, and we treat them, as close to equals as we can. But in the end, they are a tool. So we'd rather put a dog in there before a person if necessary. Plus, they have so much better capabilities. If you're looking for, a capture, they're gonna jump in there and chomp on, and plus they're gonna tell you right away that they have something going on. Or a lot of times, if they're searching for somebody, it's maybe use this free detection dog that you chuck him through the window, and then he detects it, and he sits there and barks. Hey, I found the person. Come help me, or I found the drugs. Like woo, whatever it is, whatever the alert is. So yeah,
this was
that is dogs.
The next thing I was thinking about, like some drug lord mafia guy having just like a chinchilla or something, which obviously has no lethality at all, but have all the sensory skills and smelling, barking, whatever, that it acts like some sort of movable alarm unit.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And if
like for the building that he's in, or the room that he's in.
The room, or like the range, the what's the detection range?
9 inches.
9 inch, yeah. If the guys are on alert and you roll, I don't know, D2, if he smelled something or not, if one of you guys slipped a fart,
fart, or has a spray of Axe cologne,
has an old sausage in the back. Yeah, that's a funny story. A buddy of mine, he got stopped by the cops, and he has some, what's it called, tremors. So it's a brain problem, and he's pretty young.
He shakes.
Yeah, he has this tremors, shaking. And the police force always are like, you're on drugs and things, and they always try to find drugs on his place, in his car and stuff. And one day he got stopped, and they had a detection dog with them. And his car is usually a mess, with trash and thing. Okay, I can be blamed as well sometimes, but however, they sent in the dog, and the dog started wagging his tail and like barking and making the "I found something" noise. Mm-hmm. And the cops were like, "Oh yeah, now we have him. Now we can detain him in something." And then they pull out on under the seat, passenger seat, a bag, and open it up, and there was like an old sandwich with sausage in it. And they were so ashamed that the dog didn't have the discipline for this. This was hilarious. Yeah,
that dog needs some more training, apparently.
Yeah. He was hungry.
Yes,
never go hungry on the job. Yeah. But yeah, dogs are awesome. I will definitely put my single solo dog up on the priority list and scavenge the internet for some printable STLs, especially for the crocodile. I want that crocodile.
Yes.
With a gold chain.
Crocodile. I love it.
Number 40, this is Frontline 15 requesting CAS engage hostile party directed to R12.
So speaking about printing and not painting, like you did in the little hobby update, one of my recent very, very favorite miniatures, Combat Octopus, they had a release of KSK, German Special Forces, or better said, Kommando Special Forces Command, I'm sorry. It's KSK, Kommando Spezialkräfte. And yeah, actually, so first thing first, they're one of the greatest miniature I have seen yet in terms of printing, being modular, being so meticulously detailed, having so much accessory that I feel like it's a miniatures Barbie doll dream, because you have so many pouches and things you can print separately and be extremely modular. But first thing first, Kommando Spezialkraft, the KSK, I just will run down the history a little bit, which I had to catch up myself because I'm not so deep into German military things, even being in Germany. But they formatted in 1996, I think, because prior all the counter-terrorist operation, like hostage and things, have been from 1972 or 73 up until 96 by the GSG 9, which is special forces formed or under the police command. The KSK is a military special forces. The GSG 9 have been formed after the hostage situation in the 1972 Munich Olympic Games, which you probably know, seen one of a very great gritty Hollywood movie called Munich, or Munich 72. I think it's just Munich. But and after a long time there was no need for military extreme command or commando style special forces. In 1994, during the genocide in Rwanda in Africa, there were some German citizens in that region, and they had to be rescued and evacuated by, I think, Belgian commandos or paracommandos. And this fact kind of gave the thought for the German government to think, oh, okay, we need our own decked out guys.
Yeah, so like it seems like GSG 9 basically they do all the domestic stuff inside Germany. So if there's an incident inside Germany, they're the ones that respond. But the KSK can also go to internal stuff, but they do things outside of Germany.
Yeah, they are more multi-country, multinational forces, which makes sense. I mean, obviously the American police will not go to Mexico unless some Hollywood movies say others, but that's not reality. But yeah, so they're like the special forces command, so like the really heavy skilled, like the Navy SEALs and long distance reconnaissance, Fernspeer. They do a lot of reconnaissance work. And yeah, I mean, it's something maybe not everybody has on mind, because I do not think of any movie or any video game or similar thing which involves them. I think not even, there was from, what's it called? Medal of Honor. They had the second Medal of Honor, which had modern games. They had a lot of special forces, but I think there was not a German one inside the game. So yeah, they're pretty low radar guys. But long story short, before I stop babbling until we hit the 2-hour mark, it's a beautiful release. Combat Octopus is on Patreon, and he does every month vote. Usually has around 4 different options. I do not remember, but I think Ben has the site up because his face is all white from the reflection of the white Patreon site.
It is.
So hit me up.
Usually there are, like you said, 4 choices that you can choose from, and the majority of the votes, whoever gets that, whatever force gets that, is the one that he goes with. So for this past month, he does them kind of a month ahead. So the December release was done in November, right? Obviously. KSK won, and I will admit that when I saw KSK won, I was a little bummed, because I'm like, I don't know what those guys really are all about. But I did a little talking with Dan and a little bit of research, and then it was cool seeing the design process, because Stanislaw is really good at throwing out sneak peeks of works in progress. Seeing the miniatures come alive. They look phenomenal, and I'm not just saying that. I am super stoked. We've said before that Combat Octopus has shown that 3D prints can be modular, and you can mix and match the parts even from different ranges here and there. With a little bit of elbow grease, you can do a lot of mixing, but pretty much arm for arm or torso for torso, there are some capability to make different miniatures, right? but he took it to a whole nother level with this release as he put out pouches and pistols and holsters, empty holsters, magazine pouches, backpacks. He's even got a breaching shotgun that can be put onto a miniatures pack or vest or on a belt. It's phenomenal. I'm super stoked. And not only can these guys be KSK, but I have fixings for private military or private security. Yes. Oh, yeah. So the release was 4 miniatures, and if you're at the corporal level, they're all armed with G36Ks. That's the shorter version of the G36.
Pimped out.
Pimped out. Yeah. They
Pimped
have
out. Yeah.
They have the hollow sights and magnifiers and flashlights and all the goodies on. It's probably a very heavy rifle. But if you are a sergeant, which is the tier above that, then you get additional options for the HK 416 and 417. And you get the additional pouches, backpacks, and the shotgun, the pistols, and the holster pistol rather, and a backpack and some stuff that's available at the corporal level. But to get the whole shebang, you want to be a sergeant, which is I think it's $2 more a month or something. Yeah, so it's nothing. And he's knocking it out of the park with this stuff if he continues. I can't say enough good stuff about Combat Octopus's miniatures.
Yeah, and he there are no, if I'm aware, there are no special hats for this month's release, but he did previously, because people were asking for airframe and fast type helmets. He made some with just the helmets and some, I think, face masks, and then he released a sneaky one with Comtags on them, also with what's called face mask. Yeah, so they look really great. The faces are really great. They give me a little bit of Black Powder Red Earth vibe, the hats, without the NVGs. But he said the NVGs are very hard to make them printable on his scale, because he, as he mentioned to us on our Discord, as a member of our Discord, that he takes Empress as his benchmark for scaling, so that you listeners have an idea how big and how tall and how more like true scale they are. I don't know if we get maybe some night vision. I'm pretty sure, because he's pretty bang on with dropping some sneaky bonuses. And yeah, they're lovely. I have to admit, I was not a big fan either, because I think there was another option which got me more interested. But man, those are so good looking, and I printed them already and glued them together. The pouches are insane, and backpacks, they're so tiny. When I pulled them off the printer, I was like, oh damn, I need a magnifying glass and tweezers and everything, but they're absolutely workable. And the crazy thing is, the miniatures have like a molly vests, so I mean, they're just like squares on the vests, obviously due to printing reasons. And all the backpacks and pouches on the backside, they have like small crevices in line, so you can align them into the molly parts of either the vests or even the day pack, which has some molly on it. So you have endless modularity, and yeah, it's just crazy. And I really wasn't hyped for the G36, but they are so good looking with the pimped out, decked out. They have like the angular forward grip from Magpul, yeah, which just looks awesome. And yeah, I'm super stoked about them. Apparently a lot of people on the Discord are too, because they're currently the only thing I see in the work in progress and painting area. We have one guy, Dexter, he printed 4 of them, like the typical quick reaction forces with I think 416s HKs, and the other one he gave them the big backpack and for 17 HK, and he used Empress boonie hats on them to give them a more like recon scout vibe, which are bang on, really good. You painted them already up. They look very fantastic.
Yeah, and the Flectarn,
So-
that looks really cool.
Yeah, Flector, mixed one, like desert and regular, and pants and backpacks and everything. Really good job. So, yeah, I'm speechless actually because I did not expect it. It's awesome. Yeah.
So you were asking earlier, I didn't have it pulled up, but from December, the options were Mexican Army, German KSK, 1980s U.S. cops with shotguns and assault rifles, or codename Tactical Dynamics, which is a PMC idea that he has, all with really dynamic poses, which is hopefully happens at some point. He sounds pretty pumped about that project. But this month, for work in December and release in January, the options are still being voted on. But again, we're looking at the Mexican Army, African rebels, Eastern European criminals and thugs, and then the codename Tactical Dynamics is the fourth option. So it's looking like right now the African rebels are in the lead, but possibly the Eastern European criminals are going to make a comeback. Who knows? I would be super stoked with either of those two, or even the Mexican Army. And Tactical Dynamics would be cool too. So I'm all about whatever he wants to put out.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the Mexican Army, they are like really the regular army. There's no special force thing, so that's cool. Just like we talked before with Awesome Miniatures, he really does. I think the KSK is one big jump off from his usual work. He made the Bundeswehr, which is like the German regular army forces, which are pretty cool with G36 and G3s, and MG3, of course. And I forgot already what. Of course, the Japanese
Self-defense
JSDF.
forces, yeah.
Yeah, he did special forces and regular forces, which are not modular, the regular forces, but you can get them on Gumroad. Like some other things, he got some cool robbers, which maybe fit your
The bank
plan
robbers,
you're having with the bank. Yeah.
We'll
Gotta check them
see.
out.
I'll have to buy some.
And yeah, I mean, check out Stanislav, super cool guy. I've been chatting a lot with him. I'm really happy he joined the Discord. He's very active. He comments, he has ideas.
And he plays Spectre.
And he plays Spectre, yeah. So if you think, oh, I don't have KSK yet, maybe I can use them. Or maybe you're looking for some modular PMC forces or something else. Or just the Indians now with the AKs released. You need some security force. Check out his Gumroad, check out his Patreon. We will put it in the description and the link as usual. And yeah. Awesome.
We
Really
promise
excited.
we're not getting paid by him either.
No.
We're just big
I
fans.
hope he gets paid.
I hope he does too. I hope he does really well.
He gets paid by us from the Patreon, so
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Frontline 15, this is Allen Party, stand down, that's EOD's AOI.
Well, thanks for joining us for our third episode. Dan, what do we normally say at the end of these things?
Like check the links in the description and join our Discord. Be part of the movement.
Yes.
Be part of the cool guys which just
And girls.
love the hobby. And girls, yeah, sorry. Girls. And yeah, if you have any suggestion topics you wanna us to talk about or go more in depth, either you write us an email on.
Yeah.
You have the email in hand.
Yes, the email is going to be in the links, but it's the TablesedgeGameGroup@gmail.com. But it'll be in the description. I'll make sure to throw it in there. Or if you're in the Discord, drop us a line in the little Table's Edge chat area and let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Or if you just want us to shut up, that works too.
Yeah, or if you want to tell us to stop doing the podcast.
You guys are terrible.
We won't,
Yeah.
but you can tell us.
Yes, you
we
can.
appreciate any type of criticism. If it's constructed, even better.
Yes. We're excited. We have, I don't know, another 5 or 6 episodes kind of planned out. Some topics that Dan and I want to talk about. 3D printing, some forces that we're working on. Some stuff about terrain. We have a special interview lined up. But we're not going to say anything about that. He knows who he is. Yeah, so look for that. And look for some videos, hopefully in the near future. Dan and I are going to be working on doing a little upgrading to the Discord, the unofficial Spectre Operations Wargaming Discord. and getting some pictures and videos out there. Maybe some tutorials. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just rolling out the YouTube game.
Yes.
This will not mean that we will stop the podcast. This will still be, as for now, planning, of course, time and everything, to be a monthly thing, and we will keep this up. But we want to add some visual candy to it, and maybe do a special episode with us face to face, looking in the cameras. Oh, now I have to shower again. But yeah, and shave.
Yes.
But yeah,
baby face.
Thanks for sticking so long with us, and I hope you're still enjoying it. You definitely are.
Yes, you definitely are enjoying it.
Too.
You have to.
And as usual, Ben,
keep gaming.
Drum roll.
Roll some sixes.
Roll some sixes.
Don't move! Don't fucking move! Put your hands in the air! Put your hands in the air! Put them up! Get on your knees! Hey! Hey!
Ready for
I'm
it?
ready. I'm ready. My body's ready.
My body's tired,
Yeah.
but not from what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I found those 20 euros.